Good morning. My name is Martin, and this is the tribe of the fox. Today is a beautiful sunshiny day, so I'm really in the mood to make a video that is light and easy and comfortable. So let's talk about death and decay. In particular, about illnesses, disease, sickness, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to talk about this in a heathen way. So it will be a positive video anyway. Although, of course, illness, disease can cause suffering, in the end, this will be a positive video. So I will talk about, well, first of all, about cyclic existence, which is very important to understand illness. I'm going to talk about journeying to Helheim, that's the underworld, where the illnesses live in a personified form. And then I'm going to talk about my own experience with illness in my own body. So that said, let's go. Yeah, let's start with cyclic existence. That's a thing that the tribe of the fox keeps on talking about. We talk about this in our videos, and with we, I mean Dirkje and me. We talk about this in our videos, in our workshops that we give in the Netherlands. Very important. So, what is cyclic existence? Cyclic existence simply means that everything that comes will also go. Everything that grows will decay. Everything that's being born will die. Coming and going. Cyclic existence. And we see that all over nature, of course, with our own eyes. We see trees growing, we see trees dying. We see children being born, we see old people die. Well, you don't have to be old to die, of course, because it's different for everyone. And we can even see empires come and go. Everything that we can perceive with our eyes, our ears, that we can smell, that we can taste, that we can think of, all of those things, all of those things will change and will grow and decay. Now, I know that sounds really Buddhist, and I've been a Buddhist monk myself in the past. But yeah, that's Indo-European philosophy as well. Very closely related actually to our Germanic way of thinking. So yeah, if we read the Edda poetry, then we can learn more about coming and going. In the Edda poetry, we can read that there is this substance that is called aether. E-I-T-R. Aether. E-I-T-R. Very important to remember. Because when there was this primordial void, there was a realm of fire and a realm of ice right next to it. That realm of ice, um, Niflheim, there was a well, not really literally a water well. It's more like cosmic water, whatever you want to call it. That well had water containing the substance aether. That well turned into 11 rivers. And according to the Edda poetry, they contain the substance called aether. And that makes growth, but also decay possible. So that is where cyclic existence comes from. Should we be sad about this? No, because the world is not a static place, the material world, like Midgard, our own world. It's not static. Everything grows, everything dies, everything goes. Aether. So, first of all, it's very important to understand this in an intellectual way. Yeah, the human mind is very powerful. We have intellect. Well, not all of us, but many of us have. And we can grasp the concept of cyclic existence. And then you really have to internalize it. It has to go from your conscious to your subconscious. Now, as I told you, I was a former Buddhist monk, and one of the ancient meditations was to split up the body in, I think it was about 32 body parts, and then you can look at the real nature of those body parts. Very powerful thing, actually. And you can also meditate on the I think it was nine stages in which a corpse decays. Now, most monks I knew didn't do those ancient meditations. They were probably more into love and light and not into the shadow side of things. But I'm the type of guy who loves the shadow side. So I meditated a lot on of this. And meditation, you do that with your subconscious. So the intellectual idea of coming and going, of birth and decay, it went from my conscious mind to my subconscious. That's how you internalize it. Okay? And if that worked or not, I'm going to talk about this later in the video. Yeah, very important thing, because if you really internalize this idea of cyclic existence, then you won't be surprised by it, because most people live like they can never die. And then when they fell ill, or when they are about to die, then they panic and they're going to cry. Well, not me. I internalize this. And as I said, I'm going to talk about this later. So, cyclic existence. We move on to the next topic. And the next topic is extremely important. It's about journeying to the realm of the dead. And in the realm of the dead, the illnesses, the diseases, they live there in a personified form. So that's a very shamanic thing to do. Now, I'm not claiming to be a shaman or whatever. I'm just a regular guy from the Netherlands. But I do have the ability to make journeys to the underworld. I've done this a lot of times. And I also visited illnesses in the realm of the dead. And I don't recommend you to do this unless you're a bit more experienced. I tell you why. So the first time I did this, it was under the guidance of, well, basically a great vulva, a great wise woman here in the Netherlands. She passed away recently. And it was in a group, and she made us split up the room, it was a big room, into three parts. One part was the world of the living, Midgard, where we live in as human beings. One part of the room was liminal, and one part of the room was the realm of the dead. And there was this big curtain hanging there, and that curtain was the wall uh, where the diseases lived behind that wall. So we went in a state of concentration, a state of trance with drums and rattles and if you do this with a group, you can create a really good vibe, a really good energy that resonates with the realm of the dead. And in our own time, we could go to the liminal zone and we could go to the realm of the dead. And I was fascinated by it from, from the first second. I was fascinated by it. And the illness I was visiting, well, I won't mention the illness because that's a personal story. But that particular illness that I wanted to visit, it grabbed me here with my solar plexus. I felt like he was connecting like a rope there, pulling on me. But I was in a safe environment with this great vulva. Okay, I know it's a Scandinavian word, vulva. I prefer to use headsrider because the heads is a liminal place. And headsriders go over the border. But she was a great vulva, a great headsrider, a great hagetisse. So I felt really safe. But I was fascinated. So I started to do this at home. In my own home, by myself. Divided one of the rooms in my house in three parts. And I did exactly the same. Visited the same illness. And I found out that illnesses feed on fear. Well, not all of them, but this particular one, yeah. And I was afraid. And I was so afraid that I lost control over the situation. Yeah, that happens. That happens. Now, you should never travel without, never trans journeying to other realms without some kind of helper. That can be your favorite deity that you're connected with. Because deities are not only realities, they are also archetypes at the same time. So they're always in you. And you also have spirit helpers, or spirit helpers even for a particular purpose, like journeying to illnesses in Helheim. And yeah, these helpers, they had to intervene. And I was so shaken up by my own fear that I was ungrounded for the rest of the week, literally. And I'm a very grounded guy. So yeah. And I learned from, yeah, these illnesses, they feed on fear. So the next time I went to the realm of the dead to visit illnesses, I kept my fear in check. Of course, I feel fear. But at the same time, I remain composed. And that works. You have to be dominant towards these illnesses. You have to show respect. Yeah, for sure. Always show respect for everything that you meet in other worlds. But at the same time, be dominant. Don't show any fear. They feed on it. And I learned to control this. So yeah, once you see the realm of the dead and the illnesses and the nature of that, you lose fear. You lose your fear of death. You lose your fear of illness. Because you know that this body and mind is only temporary. We can all think of this, but to really internalize this, well, journeying helps. Trans journeying helps very much. So let's have a sip of my juice, prune juice. Nice. Okay, so understanding cyclic existence and journeying to the realm of the dead, it's very important to lose your fear for death and disease. How do you know if that works? How do you know that you internalize this? Well, of course, when your own body gets in an emergency situation, if you fell ill, well, that exactly happened to me. A couple of months, about 2 months before I made this video, I was diagnosed with cancer. So I already felt, and at this moment, I'm under treatment. Now, before I was diagnosed with cancer, I already felt that there was something wrong in my body because there was this. I learned later that there was a tumor of 5 by 5 by about 2 inches. So that's a pretty big lump of tumor. And of course, that creates big, big problems in your body. So even before I was properly diagnosed, my intuition and my thinking already said, yeah, this must be cancer. So I went over the worst scenario. I thought, what if? What if there's this worst case scenario and I will die within a couple of months, for instance? I was totally calm, totally composed, totally calm, totally relaxed thinking about this. And I thought, well, yeah, I internalized these years and years and years of intense spiritual practice. So yeah, that was pretty nice. Now, fortunately, this form of cancer is treatable, so that's okay. And yeah, I learned quite a lot about this because that I am very calm and have equanimity. I think the word is equanimity, that you don't have any peaks or or peaks like this, or how do you call this in English? Uh, like you have a flat line, but you have lines that go up and you have lines that go down. Beep, 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 beep. You know, equanimity is calmness. Let's call it like this. Of course, we human beings, we have a survival instinct and we fear pain. Yeah, I don't fear death. I do fear the pain of illnesses. Something else. And at a certain moment, I had complications from the chemotherapy and I ended up in the hospital with a lot of pain in my intestines. And yeah, then I felt fear, not fear uh, for my life, for the illness itself, but my fear for instance, um, that my intestines would rupture. That will be really, really painful. That's a survival fear. That's something else. Underneath that, there was still a kind of equanimity. You have to see that separate from each other. It's hard to explain because that's a feeling you have deep inside, or I have deep inside. And yeah, something very special happened when I was in the hospital. Dirkje showed up, Dirkje of the tribe of the fox. And I didn't want any visitors at all, actually, except for my mother. But I knew that when Dirkje was pushing me to accept her visiting me, I thought, yeah, that this must be good. Because I know Dirkje is a proper heads rider, a proper Hagedisse, a proper vulva. And she went to do a healing for me in the hospital. And I was in a state of trance. She was as well. That's how we do shamanic healings, in a state of trance. And yeah, my body was in pain. And I had some heavy medication like morphine and some fentanyl type of stuff. And when I went in a state of trance, I was totally clear. I was totally without pain. My mind was totally clear. And that showed me, actually, it showed me directly that the human body and the human mind is not something that we can keep forever. In ourselves, there is a core that is pure, there's a core that cannot be affected by the body or the mind. And I don't know how to name this core that we have inside of us, but it was totally calm, totally clear, radiating even according to Dirkje. An experience like that, it shows me very clearly that yeah, we cannot cling to our bodies, we cannot cling to our minds. There's something much deeper inside of us that is the real thing. Yeah, I really enjoyed that experience, by the way. And during that healing, Dirk's hands got so warm. I thought I never felt this before. Her hands were just hot. And after she gave me the healing, she had to put her hands under cold water. And the day after, my intestines started to function again, and I could go home, could be released from the hospital. So yeah, internalize cyclic existence. Journey to Helheim if you have the ability to do so. But be careful with visiting illnesses. You need experience for this. You need really experience for this or some good guidance. And then when you come into an emergency situation with your body or mind, then you will see if all these years of practice have worked. Because cyclic existence, everything comes and goes, is a very key essential point in the heathen view on this world. Yeah. And the ability of certain people to journey to the realm of the dead and journey to the illnesses Hey, we do this for thousands and thousands of years in our indigenous Northwestern European culture. And the tribe of the fox is doing this again because we don't let the knowledge die. No, no, no. We find the old knowledge back and we move forwards. Yeah, and the reason why I haven't made a video in a long, long time is that the tribe of the fox is focusing on giving workshops in the Netherlands to actually bring people in a state of trance, to actually bring them to our deities, to actually bring them to other realms, and show people that it's possible still today in our Northwestern European societies. And Dirkje and me are focusing on that a lot. But hey, here's another English language video again, and I had fun making it. And yeah, I hope this was an interesting video that you can learn something from it. It was just sharing my experience, so that's not science. Yeah, I hope to see you back in the next video. So stay safe. Above all, stay healthy. See you in the next video. Bye bye.